All right, game versus the Red Wings. Let's watch the first shift. Make any comments. So I can see right away Lena's taking the face off instead of Carrie Ann. That's fine. And then again, for everyone, for those that don't really play center, we're just trying to win the face off back to the D. So whether you can do a backhand, you can sweep it backwards, you can just turn your body and do a forehand sweep this way. That's usually going to be the easiest method, but as long as you kind of keeping that in your mind, that's what you're trying to achieve, then you know, whatever method that you find works best for you is going to be fine. All right, so let's just continue, see what's going on. So they're coming in. Carrie Ann has the puck. So as the center, we definitely want to be brave with the puck. Now, whether that means you need to go all the way back and circle behind the net, that's perfectly fine too. If you're feeling really pressured, you can use some, like one of your D, to relieve some of that pressure off, because as you get it, you should be expecting them to back up as well, and like you can have it pass it off to them, but definitely, unless it's like really clear pass, try not to just throw it out. We want to maintain possession as much as we can. That's a good breakup by Kathy there. So Alex is coming in, gets kind of stopped up. Not a bad idea. Another thing you could consider is, remember, for key factors for all forwards, the first one in usually is going to be going towards the net, right? And if puck's not coming, then you know they get to the corner, is how we should expect to play. And while this backhand pass to Lena streaking in is one idea that is fine, the other one is actually you can throw it down the boards, and because we should be expecting the other forward coming down, then it's a pretty easy pickup for them, right? So then it all pretty simple. After that, they pick it up here and you just continue down the boards, and then the one trailing in comes in to our magic spot. We form that little triangle. It's going to be easy peasy, right? So in this case, backhand pass gets intercepted. It's not a bad idea. It's fine. Here we go. Alex should be staying up, and then once you switch, you switch. Okay. Definitely a force. Yeah, one of the things for your Kathy, any D essentially, is if you're gonna come down with the puck, don't be afraid to like really carry it around. Like you can go as far as down as you want. We just gotta expect a forward to cover, but you know, don't be too afraid to do something like that. But after you make the play, is when you start to, like, you make sure you come back to fill your position. This is all fine right now. Let's continue watching. Big forecheck going on by Fio. But hand pass. All right. So that's the first shift. Not too bad. Not too bad. All right. Second shift. Yeah, again, one of the things for center, and we'll probably make a lot of comments for centers in general. It's going to be good for everyone to learn this who aren't familiar with centers. We did have 2 red tapes. at Centerless yesterday, and Carrie Ann did express that she did not know what to do, so we'll probably make lots of points about it. So we pass it back to the D. One of the things we do want to see, especially for the center, is to always come back. For the wingers, we have leeway. Again, we've expressed that we typically want the wingers to use the width of the ice, like getting close to the boards, and it's really just to widen out the space, and from there you can kind of gauge what to do from there, just reading off of the opponents. But we do really want to see our centers coming down and be that primary passing outlet, and sometimes that's, again, we did talk about that as well as last week. Don't turn too early. You're basically going to want to cruise towards them, like the one with the puck, until the puck starts moving up, they start skating up, or they pass it to you, then you turn. So let's continue here. Here's another benefit of having full width is if we're all concentrated on this side of the ice, then we can't really make use of all this little open area. Good net drive. Ooh, that was a good try. That's a good idea for Ray. Like, so we've talked before about if he's able to gather the puck and then walk that blue line, right? So if Ray was able to catch that and then do a couple backwards crossovers and then cruise back across and then look for a lane to the net, that'd be like, that's perfect. In all one smooth motion. You've lost this defender, these ones are starting to come up, and like once you do that, once you get to the middle of the ice, a lot of things open up, right? Ray could pass here, he could pass down there for like a hard pass for a tip, pass across here, or even just shoot it on net. Lots and lots of options when you do that. Fortunately, he couldn't do that, and I think this was an icing. I was wrong, it was not an icing. Alright, so Ray's gathering it, he's basically behind the net, and again, let's focus on our center, Fionn right here. We have talked about this in the past as a center. What do we want to do? We want to get really nice and low. So that means you're like, here's that crease, you want to get even basically touching it. Is really how close we want to get. So here's those face-off dots, here's that crease. If you can get all the way down there, like we're talking below that crease, face-off dots, that's really how close you want to be. Another way you can think of it, if you really need to shift that mindset, is think about it, frame it in this way. Think that the 2D on your team are the worst players you've ever played with. They can't do anything. They need all the help that you can. And what would you do if that was the case? You get kind of close to them, really help them out, give them that easy pass. Oftentimes we have really good players on D and they can make a lot of moves, make a lot of good passes, and I think that's where we cheat a little bit. We go really far away because we think that they can make all these moves and get these accurate passes on. But if you think, like, if you can just change it out a bit, just pretend that they're just terrible, they can't make a pass, they're going to lose the puck, that means you change that mind a little bit. You want to get close, you want to help them out. And what does that mean? You got to get really nice and close to them in case they lose the puck. You're ready to help out, and that's really where you're going to change that mindset a little bit. And I did talk about before, you don't want to start skating up the ice until they pass it to you or that puck is moving up next to you, right? Or in kind of like that frame of reference. So pass comes up to the winger, and if a center was here, right, if they keep it nice and slow, really easy, right? Bump pass, boom, up, However, we got our center out all the way to Narnia, right by the blue line. We got problems. Now we've just finally received it. It should have been a really simple bump pass to the center. They're past the blue line. This is not going to happen. So we've got some struggles going on here. So at this point, we got a little bit of pressure. We're probably just going to need to reset it back to the D. That's fine, right? He's going to bring it back behind the net, and then we can just form here, and the other D is going to form here. Pretty simple. Like, lots of room to work with. Make that forechecker skate around. And then where's our center? Way out in the Narnia. They're at center ice. They're ready to go on a breakaway with no puck, right? So, like, this is a key fact. Like, centers, remember, you can, like, if this helps you, think of it as your D, as the two worst players you've ever seen in your life. They can't do anything. And you need to be out by the crease, really close to them, help them out. Definitely don't want to be out here. And yeah, I mean, for Ray, you gotta have some patience there. If you need to park your butt behind the net, and like, one of the things you can do is kind of goad them in, like this forechecker. If he chases you this way, just skate out. If he chases you that way, then you can skate out. If you really want to be annoying and they're chasing you this way, you can just do ring around the rosy. Now, that's perfectly fine too. So things to think about, and obviously we can see right here, again, our center's really far out to Narnia, and I can see Ray doing something like this, but what that results in is just a simple turnover, and we don't want to see that. Here's something. So we have 3D. I'm sure Ray, David third, and Kathy were tired. Now, one of the things for Ray, he has open ice. He can skate it. Now, maybe he says, I don't want to go end to end. I don't want to skate it all the way. Maybe I'm going to look for a pass. And if that's the case, you know, it's this neutral zone's usually the area you don't want to play games in. And Ray's definitely playing a little bit of games there. If you don't want to carry the puck, like you don't want to go end to end, what you can do is just skate it up a little bit, throw it, like just throw a hard pass at the goalie, just dump it on the net, and really waste their time, and also kind of keep their goalie on their toes. That's certainly something you can think about, but try to avoid doing a little dipsy doodles in the middle of ice. And you know, the worst part is Ray's not dangling to go forward. He's just, I'm not certain what that move was, but yeah, certainly something you can think of. Just if you don't want to go all the way down, you know, just come here, do a hard pass at the goalie, keep them on their toes. If they're taking a water break, you know, you can score a goal. So Carrie Ann has the puck. This is exactly what we want to see as that center. Just a lot of confidence with skating with it. Now, unfortunately for her, Alex isn't making any moves to really help her out, whether that means getting the boards, getting to open ice. He's really doing that standard, I'm going to skate in front of you with my kind of back turned to you. Yeah, I mean, your goal, really, make space for Carrie Ann. Whether you need to like hustle down the ice and she can bounce it to you and draw that defender towards you. And even if that, okay, let's say, Alex, you skate down there and this player follows you. And Carrie Ann decides to not pass it to you. That's not all for nothing, right? You're pulling space towards you so that she has room to operate. So that's kind of something to think about. You know, eventually you do get the pass, but you know, that period in between, you're not really helping her out. And then I like Lena's spot right here. This is probably okay to pass it here. Usually we say try not to pass it between these like before the blue line, as it's a high risk of putting itself offside. Now, that's usually the case when we're all skating up together. But in this case, we can kind of see it's kind of come to a standstill, right? Alex had to turn laterally, and it's not really a place for him to go in. This makes sense. And this is really one of those important things I've said, where I like those wingers on the width of the, like, full width, right? Get close to the boards kind of situation, because you can see how even though this side of the ice is all shut down, this opens up. Unfortunately, couldn't quite get a handle on it. Oh gosh. We got some banana peels on the ice. Good shot attempt by the Red Wing player there. Ooh. Defensively, what happened there? Okay, so Carrion goes in. That's fine. Now this is okay. Obviously, this becomes messy. So whoever was right D, remember, we can think of it like this. Here's your far side post. Here's your short side post, and then it's always going to be probably going to be a right D. So if we cut this ice in half, and we know the puck is on this side, one person is usually going to be the center or the side of the ice, so in this case the lefty. Now we know lefty, David III, fell down on some banana peels, so we have the center going towards and putting pressure. Now at this point, right D is in charge of far side post, left D is in charge of short side post. What does that mean? How do we break this down? So far side post, what is your responsibility? So right D, Kathy. What you do is you find out who's that forward that's closest to the far side post. It's this player. And then left D or center, whoever was in charge of the short side post, which means whoever is not pressuring the player. So in this case, David III, David Dang, identifies who's that player closest to the short side post, and that is this player. So what we would want to see is Kathy covering this player, David covering this player, with Carrie Ann pressuring this player, right? And it all becomes pretty straightforward after that. Now, unfortunately, the mistake is David is going towards a player that's already covered by Carrie Ann, and so it leaves this player open up, and then Kathy's also was kind of watching them and not focusing on this player. So we get openings, right? That's a one-timer. That's another one-timer. We're fortunate the number 4 is a red tape. Couldn't quite get a good handle on it, but you know, that's still an opportunity, right? And I would consider that as a defensive mistake. Let's continue. Let's see what, again, we can break that down, but nothing happened there. Why not? Let's break it down one more time. So we got pressure on this player. Now they passed down. That was short side post. So that's going to be that center. That right D, Kathy, put pressure on this. Now she's coming back to reset, and that's typically going to be what you want to do as soon as someone starts pressuring. So it's going to be kind of like cycling in and out. So one person pressures, one person resets, and then if something they pass, and then let's say it requires Kathy to start pressuring them, then Carrie Ann will need to come back and reset. And here comes that far side post. And then winger, weak side winger, in this case Alex. What does that mean? Weak side is, let's say there's a on our side looking from Cliff's perspective, right wing and left wing, right? Left wing and right wing. If they feel like they can, normally it's going to be defending the defenseman, right? And obviously we see them coming across like this. And we don't want him to go all the way over there. But if he feels like he can help out in this area, that totally makes sense. And so now we're out. So breaking that down for everyone. This is a quick little one. I was giving Alex a hard time last week about him playing games close to the blue line, and that, you know, enables kind of breakaway chances. This time he's smart and sends it down to the corner. He's not playing any more games, which is like what I like to see. Now, in this case, Lena wasn't able to beat the foot race for number 2. That's not a problem, right? What's good is we're keeping the puck in the zone, and now we can set up a forecheck if we need to. Now if they get it out, they get it out, it's fine, but at least there's no breakaway chances, nothing, no silly games being played, no odd man rushes, and that's kind of important. And then here we see Ray just busting down with speed. Number 35 misses the puck, and big power move, cuts across the net, backhand goal. 1-0. So this, after this face-off win here, now I'm not sure. I'm assuming the intention was D to D. However, the puck looked like it was rolling, so hard to say. If you were attempting to do that, or you're just trying to huck it up. But for everyone else, typically, if you're seeing a puck win back like that, and you're seeing pressure immediately, D to D is usually the way to go. And of course, Ray is doing a good job where I said, if you don't have the puck, right, which is, you can see right here, Kathy is going to be the one touches it. As long as you are behind them laterally, right, then that is a good sign, so that you can always zigzag backwards if you need to, until essentially you're just tiring out the forecheckers until you find an open lane. But seeing how the puck is rolling, we're just not completely certain what her intention was, but that is what you want to do. So another face-off win by Feech, doing a good job there. One of the first comments I would say is, yeah, one of the things with Kathy is she is moving wider, which is number 1, that's good. Number 2, if she can, also instead of going wider, she wants to go diagonally backwards. Again, why are we trying to achieve that? We're trying to achieve that because with the puck carrier, we want to be behind them, so that, again, the goal is being able to zigzag backwards. And now, if we can go full length, so let's say if Kathy can go all the way towards the boards, and Ray is going all the way towards the boards, then it's really easy to just send them full length, and the amount of time someone needs to skate that amount of distance, it's very tiring, right? So as we continue to play along, we can see how 37's on them. 32 is also kind of spacing, like getting closer to Kathy, and as long as we just keep drawing out these forecheckers, right, as we continue, that space opens up in the middle, and if we can get our center coming in, you can see how that becomes really easy to move the puck around. So it achieves a few things. It's one, you're trying to relieve pressure off that forecheckers, and then number 2, we're also opening up space in the middle where the center ideally is able to, you're giving them room to breathe and operate. Now keep watching. Now Obviously, I fucked up receiving the pass there. And my opinion, what was a mistake is I stopped and pivoted. And I think, in my opinion, next time it would be better if I actually skate into it and then turn up. So that might be something to consider for wingers. But those are some thoughts there, and then obviously some concepts for defense to work on. And now continuing, here comes Mr. Famous 32. He's got the effort, he's got the hustle. And then Kathy absolutely punishes him, breaks up the play, dangles him out. I like that. That was actually really good. So we've said before, we try not to pass when we're kind of in this zone between the red line and the blue line, right? Why? It's just simply because if we're all going up together with some sort of speed, right? If you make a pass and the person receiving it, they just couldn't handle it, right? And then someone on the wing is still continuing to skate forward, assuming that they were able to get the puck cleanly. If you fumble it, then there's a chance to go offside, and we kind of want to avoid that. Now, Kathy does a smart thing where she, boom, takes it over the line and then throws it across. And then now we don't have to worry about being offside. Very good. And then Fionn feeds a nice backhand pass. And now we have our first penalty of the game. What is that penalty, you might ask? So, number 32, we'll call this a little bit of a lazy penalty, is they try to poke check, and that's perfectly fine, right? But what number 32 did, which was the penalty, is now they've wrapping their stick around myself, and you can see there's that hook, which causes myself to fall. Now, you could say I could have stronger balance, but what is a hook, for those who don't know, is when you are using your stick blade and basically wrapping around a player. It could be a body part, it could be a stick, but the important thing and what makes it a hooking penalty is you're impeding them from moving forward. And so that is what a hooking penalty would be, for those who don't know. I'm sure there's more details in the rule book, but that's generally the gist of what it is. So we're going to get our first power play in just a moment. All right, so first power play. Let's watch it through the whole entirety, and then I'll make some comments. All right, that's very odd. We've only been on the power play for 10 seconds. If you're gonna go for a change now, I'd say you probably should have gone for a change before the face-off dropped. So that's strange. That's strange. At least play like 30 seconds. So we're going up together. I think one of the mistakes here on David's part is he should have scanned up the ice to see that our players are changing, and if that's the case, he should have just kind of waited behind the net. So you can see how it becomes awkward. We're all coming up together, however we are missing two forwards and it's just one winger coming up, so it is awkward for sure. I think ideally he could have had a couple passing options or even skated up himself. I think this was fine, just couldn't get that cleanly, but we were still able to get into the zone. So here is another setup. I'd say, Lena, if you could just get like that part is actually, you're fine. And then I was just taking a look at Carrie Ann here actually. Fair enough. good defense on their red tape. And yeah, I think from here I noticed that the other forwards did a line change, so here I'm just gonna go for the swap right here just to keep the lines together. Let's continue. We're still able to keep puck in the zone, so we got some good movement here. Positioning wise, yeah, this is right here. Again, I'm a huge fan of shifting to the side where the puck is in general. So there are going to be cases where you don't want to do that. However, for deep, like players that are deep, and there's also like Carrie Ann on the deep corner, I would say for her it's going to be usually beneficial for her to shift over, whether she comes in front of the net and just stands on this side, that's perfectly fine in itself, or if she wants to come all the way over to the corner or in the half wall, that's perfectly fine as well. I think the key factor is because she's so, like, she's basically in the corner, to not stay all the way on the opposite side. Now, it might make sense if Kathy is actually coming down and then she opens up on the one-timer somewhere over here. However, the only thing I would say is because we have so many players kind of here, that maybe it's not so ideal. But let's continue. Yeah, you can kind of see how she's really opening up on this kind of sharp angle back door. Maybe it's okay. Yeah, a little bit of a forced pass there, Kathy. Got definitely more room to work with, but that's okay. Nonetheless, oh, good chance there for Lena. Okay. I think another comment for Carrie Ann. So she's backing up and crowding towards the net. Like, we're all essentially, we got three forwards crashing the crease now. I think for her, if she's able to get even closer to the net, it's going to be a little bit more deadly. Now, if she wants to be more in a support role, again, I love going around the perimeter of the boards. But yeah, you can see how she's a little bit caught in the no man's land. Like, if she wants to be here or she wants to be here, but she's kind of in the middle. So a little bit of an in-between tweener right there. Good keeping it down. All right. Ugh. Yeah, that wasn't a great pass. Tough to handle. I get the idea. I think right around here when he couldn't, like, didn't quite get a good handle on it was where considerations of throwing it back down the wall would have been the safer bet. But that's fine. I think I would imagine they clear it right here. Yeah. Dumped. Let's see how much time we have left on the power play. Like, the power play is good. We're getting much better at holding possession and moving the puck around. Okay, 15 seconds left. Nice. Yeah, here's another one. I think Fee, just like your little, if you're gonna go up here, let me let me explain a little further. Let's go back. So puck's here, and then she's like doing crossovers to go up. If you're gonna cruise up there, you need a fight for the open space. What that means is you can't cruise up here. What I would suggest to do if you're gonna do something like this is now you need to cut across and find that open, like where's that open space that Alex can reach to. It's definitely not here, right? Because there's players in the way. But however, that being said, there is open space here, so we need to get into that area that Alex can feed you for the pass, if that makes sense for everyone. Don't you see how Fiona has just cruised, and now 3 defenders, impossible pass. However, if she cut across, right, now that's something that could be possible. So something to think about. And then again, yeah, Janice is a good spot, nice and wide. Oh, that looks like another hooking penalty. Again, it's hard to tell because they're both red tapes, but what causes the fall looks like, yeah, stick kind of gets around. We know Janice is a right-handed shooter, so stick kind of gets wrapped around Janice, and then they both fall down. Basically, that's another hooking penalty, right? It's you are impeding her ability to move in a forward motion, or just basically impeding movement and then causing a fall. So that's essentially, that is a hooking penalty. I believe officially they called it holding, but I would say that's a hooking penalty, so penalty number 2. Alright, second power play. Let's, same thing, watch it in its entirety, see what we can take from this. Okay, so more center tips. So a lot of good things from, let's take a look at Fee. Good things here on that breakout, but some bad things as well. So we're going nice and low. So we got this aspect down, and Ray opts to pass it off to Kathy. Perfectly reasonable. And one of the mistakes, or right now we're still in a very good spot, right? We're coming nice and low, and we're kind of getting ready for a outlet pass, right? And one of the problems is now we've gone too far, right? Our back is turned, we can't receive a pass, and on the train tracks to get obliterated by 21 if we're not looking where we're going. So tough, right? Very tough to get a pass right there. And the idea is right for this one. Likely my fault here on that pivot instead of just receiving it on the backhand. But we get a chip in, so we should, like, could have been a good forechecking opportunity there, but that's fine. And they do a clear out, so let's see if we are able to get another cleaner breakout here. You know, with a couple shots there, couldn't quite get it through. Kathy breaks it up and sends it back down low. Good keep. Uh, we had another one where last week, um, with that face-off where Ray was coming in and Fee just bats it away. I think this one, maybe the right an attempt to get it over to me, but unfortunately knocks it out of my reach. Good keep again by Kathy. Going down. Lena identifies that someone needs to come up here. Very good to see. Right idea. I like it. I think one thing is you can see how Fee's very close to this player, and just kind of identifying if we could just take a little bit, just kind of space yourself out a little bit, is likely going to be to your advantage. But nonetheless, let us continue. Hasn't been particularly clean on this power play so far, but we have gotten some zone time, so that's not too bad. Here's another thing where we're coming back, and obviously there's a change going on. If Ray is able to identify the changes, like here's in our center going away as well, to just kind of reset and come back behind the net, whether it's D to D or anything like that, just to buy some time. Don't need to rush it quite yet. There you go. See, Ray did a turn around, buy some time. And perhaps that was a bit rushed as well. So we have identified that there's a change going on, right? We can definitely just come back down, settle it down. And here the intention was to also go for a change, but here comes a pass, and we're able to. Again, the zone's still okay. So basically, I'm just saying, like, if we see that, we can definitely opt to think about just being patient, wait for the change, and then have everyone kind of settle down and then come back in the zone. But what we did now is okay too. You know, if you see space, then take it, right? It's not a big, that's also an option. So some things to think about. At this point, penalty is over. However, funny enough, let's keep watching. You can see it right now. But let's see how long it takes for them to call it. Oh, now it's really crazy. There you go. Ref finally catches it. And then we're about to get another penalty, or power play. So I'll end it here. Let's continue on the next power play shift. All right, another power play number 3. Let's watch it its entirety. Good movement there. Yeah, okay, right idea. I'm trying to get it to Janice, and again with Carrie Ann. Again, this is just my opinion. It'll always running a nice simple 5-on-5 power play. If we just shift on over to where the puck is, form a nice little triangle. It's just simple basics that you can apply in any situation. It's just really kind of easy to fall into. We can get into more complicated formations later on, but you know, to keep it simple, this is like I'm a fan of that. However, let's continue. Okay. I don't mind it. Oh. This is Ray's penalty, so now we're going to be playing 4-on-4 hockey. However, let's just go over it. It's actually a good goal. We'll identify some elements. So we've talked about walking across the blue line, getting better angles, right? This is not the greatest. This is better. This is the best. And we've also talked about screening the goalie. Rather than just parking in front of the goalie, if we time yourself to cut across, it's super annoying. So let's, first of all, let's focus on Ray, how he walks that blue and then takes a good, powerful shot. Boom, right? Pretty stellar. Now let's rewind a little bit and pay attention to Carry-On. Now, Carry-On's not a big player, but it's just annoying enough. Boom. Just that split second where she cuts across. How annoying is that? The puck is now being released. This goalie is not going to be able to react at all. How late he didn't react until it finally hit him in the shoulder. That's how annoying a perfect screen like that can be. And that is, in my opinion, the perfect screen. The perfect screen is not standing in front of the goalie. The perfect screen is cutting across the goalie right as the puck gets shot, and you just block their vision for that half second. It's just enough to annoy them, right? They're concentrated, and all of a sudden someone gets in front of your face for that split second. How annoying is that? That's outrageous. So that is the elements of a perfect screen and really good shot. Now, I was talking to Ray. We're all giving him shit in the locker room, right? He says, I was trying to, just fire it on net, hope for a rebound, hope for a tip. Okay, if you want to go for a tip shot, usually it's going to be easier if you keep it on the ice, right? And then elevate it. Typically speaking, that's just easier. Now, in this situation, I don't expect Carry-On to be someone that's going to be net front tipping shots. So that's also something to consider as well. And then if Ray, I don't know, don't want to take that risk ever of taking a shot if you scored already, there's a lot of room to work with. You can definitely start skating to the blue line, coming in, and then work off passes left and right. David can also consider coming down for that right hand one-timer, right? So as you move across, let's kind of draw how that situation would unfold. So when Ray comes across towards that middle, and then David can cruise down, and then Alex, you come up here. So think of it like maybe the two top circles, or even we can think of edges of the magic spot, right? This opens up really nice one-timer opportunities. So think of it just shifting across, shifting down. And then Janice is in a pretty okay spot. And then Carry-On cutting across in front of the net. Gives ourselves lots and lots of options. But yeah, things to consider for Ray. But nonetheless, this is a really nice goal. It's not very often Ray scores. It just so happens this one he gets a penalty. Alright, so pretty soon it's gonna be a power play for Red Wings. So this is just the start of the second period. Why don't we just watch the whole thing, see how it all unfolds. Great interception by Thomas trying to get it out. Offside. Alright, looks like power play is just about to start. So let's skip ahead to the face-off. Here we go. And we talked about penalty kills last week, and so one of the things is we're trying to kill time here. Sometimes it's really something to consider is don't be too super aggressive on the penalty kill, getting in front of the net and all that, or getting too deep, because if you're going to odd man rush back, it's tough to defend, especially we're down one player. Now Kathy's going around in circle, doing well, keeping possession and killing time here. And she did talk about, is that kind of bad etiquette to do that? And I'm thinking no, because she hasn't really kind of gone around for too long. It's just one circle. Now they might start to get pissed if she goes around once, goes around twice, and just killing time and no one. And really, it's not her fault or anything like that. No one's going on her. So the Red Wings should have been putting pressure on. It's the penalty kill for them. I mean, a penalty kill for us. Why are they taking so much time to put pressure on you? They have the extra player that can definitely just stick two on Kathy, and it'd be easy to strip the puck off of her, right? Now let's rewind. If we really want to kill some time, what Kathy can do is she's skating around and she skates back right here, right? And then she can skate all the way back to our zone and then go all the way behind their net and then wait for the Red Wings to get to our zone. And then what does she do? She just flips it, ices it, and it's not icing on the penalty kill, right? So then that forces them to skate all the way to our zone, then all the way back to their zone. That's probably kill at least 10-20 seconds of their time. So that's one way to kill some time on the penalty kill. But anyways, she just throws it in the middle, and now they're a bit on the rush. So now it's important to just, again, we've talked about this last week. What's the goal on the penalty kill? The goal is to prevent pucks from entering in this zone, right? And if it does get in the zone, make it difficult for them. So Fion's covering a player, that's pretty good. And we can have Janice come over here and cover number 13. That would be great as well. Now we have one player behind the net. Just contain them. We don't need to chase them behind the net or anything. Don't need to pressure them too hard. We're just, again, what's the goal on a penalty kill? We're trying to prevent pucks from going into the zone. And if it goes into the zone, make sure they don't have a free shot. So we're able to be annoying for number 2. And unforced errors on their part, and they have essentially killed the penalty for us. And that is the penalty kill. So pretty good. We got a couple power plays. One kind of got cut in half so far, and a penalty kill that was successful. Good time killing by Kathy there, and then some ideas of what you could do if you really want to be annoying and kill some more time on the penalty kill. Okay, so this one, I wanted to identify this because of, look, right here, is the positioning of Kathy. And I have said, cut that ice in half, and we try to bias ourselves onto the side where the puck is. And typically speaking, that's going to be applicable for our forwards. However, for the D, I would not advise to stand on that side, and simply because it's nice to have that width of the ice, and I would say to stand even like just on this side, but trying to bias yourself towards the middle of the ice gives you a really offensive opportunity and ability to read the ice. So let's watch this how it pans out. We can see how it is really close, right? And then one player coming in can apply a lot of pressure to multiple players, versus if we're kind of over here, we're able to work with a little bit more room, right? So that's something to consider, and you can see how there's a little bit of a panic there. And it's a little bit of a short pass to get to the T partner. And here, good read by David to just shift over. Everyone's so concentrated over here. Why not just make use a little bit of space over here, right? So I'll leave that there and let's continue watching. And it's another thing for the defense to read, right? If you're on that weak side right here, if you see that there's like nobody on this side of the ice, on the right hand side of the ice, this is where you can be really sneaky, right? We've overloaded all the forwards in an ideal situation where it's like triple up like this with a D on the boards and then a D here. And if we bring everyone over on that side of the ice, sometimes we can sneak in on that back door. So these are kind of more advanced concepts, but I wanted to kind of pick that out in terms of positioning. Now let's continue. Something we can identify here is this is a fairly aggressive defensive posturing. Now we call it I would call it risky, but sometimes if you take these risks you can be rewarded. So in this case Kathy was able to kill that play. Now what is the risk of this? So if when we see two players coming in with speed like this, we typically will want to start the retreat, and then that's a pretty simple 2-on-2 defensive situation. Now if Kathy missed that, then we are finding ourselves in a 2-on-1 situation. So that's where the risk comes from. Now she took the risk, she gets the reward of keeping that puck in the zone, and thus we are still able to keep the puck in and continue our offense. And fortunately for us, Kathy takes a shot, gets a fortunate bounce right to Lena, and she gets a nice shot off, rebound, and Alex gets it in. So great goal, Alex. Lena gets her first assist of the year. So that is how we were able to get to the goal. We take a little bit of a risk and we get rewarded by it, but something we can just think about for everyone is if you are going to take that risk, just be aware of what could be the potential consequences. And then here we are able to see what are potentially some rewards we can see. So in this case we get a goal, Lena gets her first assist. Yeah, fantastic. So this play leading up was fairly interesting. You can see Dave coming up to send it, interception, and kind of a 50-50 puck here, like where he pokes it through. And then now our famous 32 comes in, and all I hear is him screaming. He's like, "Don't fucking touch the red tapes!" And like super angry, and then comes off. So then we're all just staring at him. We don't know, like, I guess, you know, don't want to fan the fire, and so he's coming in where I think we got caught a little shell-shocked by that. Let's kind of replay it again. We don't know what the heck to do, and I think we kind of realized late they're coming in on the rush. And they come and take a shot and a goal. So that's a funny story. Now watching back on it, I get, like, on one hand, I think that was kind of 50-50. It is what it is. Now let's break it down, ignoring that we were a little bit late for sure. Is we see, let's actually rewind before they enter the zone defensively. Is Fee's putting some pressure on 32, which is fine. At this point, Thomas comes on to 32. So Fee should be switching off. Basically, it's going to be, you're like playing tag, like a tag team wrestling match. You say tag, now you're in for the match. So at this point, she should identify at least one of these two players that are coming into the zone, right? And we could say definitely for sure David also is late coming in, and we'll kind of explain the reason why. But in a normal situation, he would probably be defending this player, and he should be defending this player as the center, right? The third forward in, center should be taking care of that. So a little bit of missed coverage. And then so we have a 2-1 game here. I thought this was kind of funny. Yeah, you know, positioning is pretty much correct. Again, we're trying to move wider rather than straight behind, but the banana peels kind of opens up for a little bit of forechecking pressure. Definitely a sketchy move right there, cutting in front of Cliff. What should we think about? Again, here, like, here's a new bounce pass. Your D partner is right open there. Also, you can definitely look for that middle option. Again, remember, centers became that mindset. We're thinking, if you change that mindset to the 2D, are the worst players you ever seen, ever. And they just can't do anything. What do you want to do? You want to get nice and close to them, help them out. So we would want to see the center here, ready to say, give me that little pass, give me that little pass, boom, out, ready to go. You can send a pass to the wingers, whatever you want to do. Well, that is definitely a little bit on the sketch side, but nonetheless, that was pretty funny with the banana peel slip. Now, incoming is the 4th penalty of the game. That's a high stick, all right. Now, totally accidental. Obviously not her intention. Now, let's talk about this. This is an interesting shot, a little backhand one-timer, and let's say if it was anyone else on our team with red stick, what would I suggest you do differently? One of the things I am not usually a big fan of is these backhand one-timers. A lot of people do them. Not my favorite. It's kind of weak. It's not great. You're not going to get good power on it. And what I would suggest, she's a right-handed shot, so any right-handed players, she's actually in a really good position to receive it on that forehand and then turn and then shoot, right? And instead of doing this backhand one-timer with a huge follow-through, just unfortunately. Oh man, Carrie Ann's just getting bullied. And obviously there's a delay penalty now, and understandably we're all taking it chill, but at this point we can just control the play and bring out an extra player, run basically a 6-on-5 power play. But I saw an opportunity here for Lena to get a shot. We did talk about on the bench, I think she had a little bit of room to just kind of skate it in, settle it down, and then have a good, nice shot. Instead, she opted for a little one-timer chance. Just couldn't get good power on it. But you know, that's fine too. Not a big deal. But I think for future considerations, what we can definitely do is when we have a extra player on the ice, just control it on the perimeter, set up really high quality chances, and then basically make use of this kind of semi power play before our actual power play. So that is interesting and something to think about as well if we ever have a delayed penalty. All right, as usual, let's watch the full power play in action, see if we have anything to discuss. I see. Okay, let's go from here. So number 32 coming in. And we're not putting any pressure on him. The hell, Alex? It's a power play. Okay, so funny enough, 32 does exactly what I said Kathy could have done. Does a circle, and now it takes it back towards his zone. This is all just killing time, right? And we said before, the Red Wings didn't put any pressure on Kathy, so it's all on her. She could have definitely just continued to kill the play, which is exactly what 32 is doing. Smart on him. And then obviously we gotta roast Alex a little bit for not only standing there, but then he says, "Hey, let's get out of the way. Why don't we not put any pressure on him, even though we're on the power play?" Okay, so we finally are coming out of the zone. Good zone entry. Let's see how we go from here. Almost playing a little bit of games there again, Alex, with the passing along the blue line. Let's get a little bit more speed on that pass, perhaps. But that almost got an interception. Okay. Nice keep, but couldn't quite get it in. That's fine. And now we're killing the penalty some more. Okay, so that more time is being killed here. Not. Ooh. Oh. Bowling pin action. Let's watch this again. Oh man. 4 on 1. Alright. Decent chance. Not much happening so far on this power play. And that is it. Let's see if there's anything happening on the next whistle. Yeah, doesn't look like much has happened. So let's end it here, and I'll see you on whatever the next clip is. Okay, so we've been talking about the importance of our centers, and here is another clip that is just kind of showcasing how important really like that center role is. And in this clip right here is Carrie Ann is our center. So here's the situation. We got a puck in the corner, and right here, so where Carrie Ann is, she's in a good spot right now, and she should really be carrying that, just skating forward. It doesn't have to be fast, it just needs to be in like a little soft area where a pass can come out, and you're almost going to be forming little triangles again. So we have Alex down here in a pretty decent spot, so all Carrie Ann needs to be is roughly around here. And so you can see how this formation of a triangle right here is going to be facilitating a lot of movement, where whether that is through Alex and then bumped out where she can come out, or David going straight to Carrie Ann to come out, is what's kind of the important features. So coming up, as long as Carrie-Anne is able to come out like this and then positioning herself in front of this player, so in front being not behind, like, so the passing lane does not go through this player. So as long as they go in front of them, it's going to be a pretty simple and straightforward exit out. And then we've said before, as our wingers, they can use their center as the guide post. In this case, there is no center, or they're not skating up. And you just time it together, where if she is able to receive it, and then it's pretty simple to get the pass across like this, right? So let's kind of watch how this unfolds. And you can see there's really no pass for David to go through, and thus now you can see how at this point he's going to get closed off, and it basically becomes a turnover. So that's kind of showcasing the importance of the center on the breakout. Now another clip right here is, you see how number 2 crashed in the boards. We've talked before about just being very careful of how you go towards the boards. We're not the greatest skaters in the world in this league, so anytime you can, try to avoid going straight into the boards. If you can, if it's just a little mini detour where you do like an out and then an in, if you fall, then you'll just fall and slide along the boards rather than head on. And so here we see there he shoots, and then I think he just fumbled on his own 2 feet. Yeah, trying to stop, probably hit the puck, and then next thing you know, into the boards he goes by himself. And yeah, the ref calls it, there's no penalty on the play here, but you know, nonetheless it looks dangerous, right? And again, it's just important to try to take an angle into the board so that if you fall, you're not falling straight into it. And you, like, the plan is really, if you're gonna fall, you want to slide along the boards. So 2 important things right here. So here's a clip I wanted to highlight. So I briefly touched upon it earlier when we had Alex's goal, the second goal. And anytime we see some forwards coming this way, we kind of want to start our retreat right away. That would be the typical standard default, and you'll get 2-on-2 defense, pretty straightforward. And we can see how Kathy kind of started back, and then now she started to attack forward, and this really shows the flip side of the risk that she could have taken earlier on that goal, right? And now she's flat-footed because she hasn't started that retreat early, and so right now we're kind of seeing a semi 2-on-1, but Kathy is able to keep up, so therefore it's still putting a little bit of back pressure, but we're just not at a slightly disadvantaged position than if we were in front of them. Now she was able to get a poke check off, but it's just kind of a demonstration of what can happen if you don't start your retreat early, and then situations like this can pop up. Okay, so this is a super clear example of just not being patient with the puck. And so let's kind of rewind a little bit. Perfect D to D, relieving the pressure off of them. And so at this point, 37 basically turns around, and we have, this is all like freedom, pure freedom. And we have witnessed already, like, we're going for a winger change. Our center is about to peel off for a change. So now the question I have for Kathy, who has the puck, is why did you do that? Why would you force a pass up to Alex, who literally has this absolute giant of a Red Wing looming over his shoulders. Questionable. Versus just, go back behind the net, settle it down, wait for our center to come on, wait for our winger to come down. We have our other winger here, so, and there's no rush. Like the forecheckers are literally just here. So yeah, I mean, this is a demonstration of just being not patient with the puck. There was no reason to skate it up just yet, and then let alone setting up Alex for failure right there as well from that pass. So here we have another demonstration of how extremely important our centers are. So we have two forecheckers coming in onto our D, and we're seeing good things here. Kathy's starting to retreat back. Now, in my opinion, it would have been better if she's behind this line. Reference point, again, laterally, if we can be even but behind Ray slightly so we can zigzag backwards, it's going to be preferred. But essentially, we are able to execute a D to D, right? That full width from one side all the way to the other. Now we have Kathy's able to buy herself a lot of time. This distance is quite a bit to cover, and same with this one. However, at this point, we would probably have wanted to see a center roughly around here, ready to swoop up, so she can have this pass option, and she can also have the winger pass option. However, I can tell you right now, Carrie Ann's all the way off to Narnia on the left side of the screen, and the same can be said with the winger. There would be a preference to be lower down, maybe roughly where that ref is as a default, and then if you find there's space behind the Red Wings, then we can work through that, but key focus here is the center. Now we get a pass up. Okay, it wasn't clean. Alex wasn't able to get it, but boom, wow. We've scanned around, we see both our players are all the way on the opposite blue line, which is not going to be very helpful in breaking out the puck cleanly from our zone. So again, this is just, important things. We're trying to figure out how important is it for that center to be there. They're really the key piece to facilitate any breakouts, and being this far away from your teammates is just not going to be helpful. Alright, I gotta show this because it's pretty rare. Oh man, Ray, you got your pants absolutely deked out. And then after that, number 13 just goes down and crashes and falls down himself. Oh my goodness, we got bodies falling everywhere. What is going on? This is wild. So funny enough, earlier in the game, David got all that shit from 32, where he comes in yelling, "Don't fucking touch those red tapes." That's my best impersonation of him. And here we go, number 2. Absolutely manhandling Carrie Ann here. Pushes her to the side a little bit. I don't know, Alex. I think you needed to come in there, come roaring in, like, "Don't fucking touch our red tapes, man," and then go and score a goal and get a ticket penalty because you've already scored one. Another prime example for our centers and any other learning centers. So let's skip here. So we've talked about having the defense cut back to the safety zone, which is just behind the net, and Kathy's in a opposite corner, maybe a little high. I would probably say kind of down here is, but yeah, that's fine. Like this kind of range is perfectly fine, and not like now as I think about it more, it should be also the opposite winger will do kind of the similar situation, so that the D has both directions to operate with. Now, going back to the topic of the center, is we've talked about they want to be like almost touching that crease, getting nice and close, so that if any direction that that puck goes in towards, we're ready to rock and roll and support them. So it's going to be swooping along, in this case coming up, so that pass is coming to Kathy, so our center should be swooping along and coming up. And it doesn't have to be extremely fast. You don't need to pull out your McDavid speed, because perhaps your teammates just don't have that capability to send off laser passes to you one touch on the tape like they would in the NHL. So tone it down, control your pace, and watch where your teammates. So if Kathy's able to settle it, at this point you would probably be roughly around here. And then if Janice gets over here, you know, we're pulling all the players over. Again, we're trying to, and let me just play it for, you see how they're all shifting this way, but there is also this kind of center space to work with and operate with. So if our center was coming up like this, it opens up a really simple pass right here, and then from there they're able to operate with, they can see, is there a winger I can pass to, winger to pass to, or can I even skate it up myself? However, if we're jumping the gun a little bit far, it becomes tough to pass to. Now, right here, there is a little bit of open space. We would have probably seen that, preferred that to be the winger, but again, that's not the point. The point is really like the center is just so important to have clean breakouts. And see right there, now Kathy's trying to do some Hail Mary stretch passes, and essentially now we're forced to ice the puck. That's very unfortunate. And now we've got to do another face-off in our own zone. So why don't we skip ahead? Let's see if there is a breakout to be had. Shot on net. Good reset there by Ray. Same situation. So we're all going to come down together. There is the pass to the D to D. And again, our center is skating off out of the zone and off to Narnia. Again, what would I have preferred to see is probably where I am standing right now. Or we could say even right here is an option as well. Just something where they can bump out and you can exit the zone cleanly, but not being so far ahead where it's like they have to go through multiple defenders to get that puck to you. You can kind of see how it's still cruising away, right? Still cruising away. Very tough to get there. And I think the pacing like this, if we replace this with this, and then if I observe that, like the winger observes that, and then we take full width, oh gosh, why did it reset here? Let's pause it here and I'll come back. All right, so continuing on. Yeah, so what have I said? Yeah, if there's a preference, like the center is really trying to help out facilitating the breakout. Now we're into the neutral zone, and Fionn has come back, but again, this is now we're doubling up, and it's kind of awkward. If we're seeing the puck carriers here, she should be hustling out to get to full width of the ice. Again, we're trying to occupy, if you can think of the 3-lane highway, so this neutral zone, there's a 3-lane highway and there's a traffic jam, and it just makes no sense for you to bunch up a bunch of, if you can think of yourself as cars. There's no reason to bunch up, 3 cars, 4 cars, 5 cars in the same lane when there is all this open space that we can work with, right? So if he can come over here, she sees, hey, there's open space. Let's get over there on this lane highway. She doesn't need to be all the way up here, but make use of that space so that Janice has somebody to pass to. And so let's continue watching here, right? It's very awkward. You're just literally standing there and staring at her. Yes, we all know Janice is one of the more beginner players on our team, but we're not helping her out by just standing there. We're not getting open. We need to get out here, somewhere with open eyes. Again, remember, 3-lane highway. We don't need a traffic jam into 1 lane. Go to an empty lane, and then you'll be able to break through and get to the other side of the road, right? So eventually pass comes out from Janice, and we're able to take advantage of that. And again, this just comes back to that 3-lane highway concept. We can see there's just heavy traffic jam right here. There's a car crash on the 401. Ambulances are coming, but look, there's a free lane on the left side. There's a free lane on the right side. So why aren't we taking advantage of that? And in this case, we happen to take advantage of all the space. Now 4 players are behind me, and this defender has also made a grave mistake with one of their defenders in front of them. They decide to lunge forward, and hence now we get rewarded with a semi breakaway, and that is 3-1. I think this is a good example of not carrying backwards momentum. So with David, some good takeaways are he's attacking them on that blue line. Now, the thing I've kind of said in the past for defenders is we typically want to carry backwards momentum and then slow down your pace to control the gap, being like the distance between yourself and the attacker. But you try to never want to lunge forward or become stationary. And in this situation, while he tries to attack them, this is what can happen. If they chip it past you or they deke it past you and you've lunged forward, now you've lost that foot speed and they can have an opportunity to attack there. Now, we can sometimes make up for it being better skaters, but the more we play, we won't be able to hide behind that fact, and most people are going to be similar range of skills. And so if we can build habits of continuing that backwards momentum, it's going to be it's good habits. And I have said in the past for other reviews, if we have to concede, like if you are not able to poke check them at the blue line, it's going to be preferable that you stay in front of them rather than attacking them. But if we are able to, there is preference to try to poke check them before the blue line. So some good takeaways, and then some things I wanted to point out for anyone that will be playing defense. I gotta roast Alex for this. I was giving him flack on it on Friday as well, but Alex, why can't you just keep it on the ice? Why does it have to be like these chest high grenades? I'm just giving you a hard time. And after that, after giving Alex some flack, you know, he's able to land beautiful along the ice seam passes right to Carrie Ann. She's got him dead to rights. just couldn't hit the net, that's fine. Good, perfect opportunity. But yeah, Alex, if you're able to keep that puck on the ice, keep it simple. We don't need to throw passes up chest tight. I'm just giving you a hard time, but that was a good pass right here. Another example of centers on the breakout. So again, we're trying to swoop down, touch that crease, and then come up like so, so that the pass comes here, comes out like that, and now it takes a really awkward bounce. You can see how it rolled and then bink out like this. And if he was able to kind of, we'll just watch how her path, she just kind of skates away like this early. Number one, it's going to make it really hard for the winger to pass to you as you continue to skate away. Number three, if you were able to do this, this is just a pretty straightforward pickup, and then you're off to the races, right? So a lot of this, again, it starts with optimizing your pathing and facilitating a lot of supports. Now, eventually you still get the puck, and I remember this now, actually. So I was saying, just skate with it, Fee, because literally there is not a single red tape near your stratosphere. Like, they're off in the other solar system. and then a little awkward backhand pass there. So yeah, that was pretty funny. But the key thing again for centers, we're trying to it's just really important. You're the key focal point for support, and it's just really important to not really skate out of the zone too early. So we're going for the retreat. Everything about this is fantastic except for this. Why, Ray? Why do you do this to yourself? So let me just bring you an argument right here. Number one, D to D makes a lot of sense. Now we could like Kathy to retreat a little bit further back, but again, situation, this is fine. D to D makes a lot of sense. Number two, why do you not just tight turn this way, and that way your stick is in front of you, therefore it would be like this, therefore it is further away from this forechecker, and then now you have speed going up this way if you want to escape them. Why do this? Oh my gosh, what are you doing? We got lucky there, but my goodness, Ray. My goodness, Ray. I thought this was funny. Another classic 32. I love it. So he's hustling down. He's absolutely hauling ass. Tries to go for a deep. David stops it. Comes in. Boom. I love it. It's just it's too funny to watch. So this play leading up was pretty good. So good keep down, or at least the attempt to keep it down by Alex. And then Ray was able to keep it in the zone. Good chip up. I like that play right there, actually. That was solid. And then Carrie Ann's absolutely got this guy dead to rights one more time. So what happens? Oh, paddle save. Was that a paddle save? Well, I'm not even sure. I couldn't tell, but it looks like someone got a stick on it and knocked it out. Oh my goodness. Was that close or what? I love it. This one's... We got some more bowling pins. So, red tapes as well. Try to avoid... So if someone's skating up like this player came on straight at the puck like this, right? Number one, it's dangerous. We've kind of said we don't want to ever put yourself straight into the boards like this. And number two, um, like it's basically a full body like contact right there, right? I'm sure it's unintentional. And what do we want to do instead is essentially you're going to be rubbing, like you're riding a wave. So if you can consider feet a wave, so she's coming along like this, we just want to go right next to them, and then you can squeeze them into the boards if you need to. It's not a full on body check. You can kind of rub them into the boards, and then reaching in to play the puck, but try not to do that. That's what we want to avoid in general, especially if you're a bigger body. Now we're thankful that number 22 is a smaller player, but you know, so that they can get away with this kind of stuff. But these are habits we want to build towards not doing. Alright, last 36 seconds. They've pulled the goalie. Let's just see what they do. We don't want to go too crazy. We're up by 2. That's a good pass attempt there. Oh shit, number 2 coming in quick. Killing some time here. In a situation like this, again, you can treat it almost like a penalty kill. What's the goal? We're trying to prevent pucks coming in here. And then if they do, what do we want to do? We want to make it life miserable for them. So we do that. Good block by Thomas there. And game over. 3-1 win against the Red Wings.